afternoon, everyone out there in the world. We're talking today with Lindsay Cameron, and this is part of the Luzerne Hadley Memories Project, and we want to welcome you and thank you for participating.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. So you live in Hadley, but you're from Johnsburg.
Yep.
Could you tell us something about Johnsburg? I mean, it's physical. Is there a downtown? Is there or what's it like?
There is a little town, North Creek. It's part of Johnsburg. One of the 7 hamlets of Johnsburg.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's town pretty much. We had growing up. There was the Stewart store, the Nice and Easy's gas station, the Tops Market or Grand Union, depending on the year.
Yeah.
And there was a couple other little shops along Main Street in North Creek.
Okay.
And just up from that was a school. So everything was kind of there.
Right.
I lived on the outskirts. It was like a 10-minute drive to get there.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't too bad, but I didn't have neighbors or anything, really. I think my closest one was quarter mile up the road, about.
Actually,
yeah.
I had a question about that.
Yeah.
So you lived outside of town, a quarter mile away, or how far out of town would you say?
Probably, it was a good 10-minute ride into town. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And near other people, no, they were a quarter mile away.
Yeah.
Your closest
they were
neighbor.
off a little bit.
Yeah.
It was quiet.
Yeah. Did you have extended family, like aunts, uncles, grandparents around, or?
No.
No?
Nope. They all lived in Glens Falls and South Glens Falls.
Okay.
Where my parents grew up.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And they moved up to Johnsburg when I was a baby. And my mom loved it up there, but she missed having, like, her mom and dad because they were close.
Yeah.
Nearby.
Yeah.
But I still, every weekend, we'd go grocery shopping and we'd stop. We'd make the rounds at grandparents.
In Glens Falls.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
It was cheaper to go to Glens Falls to grocery shop than the little town stores.
Sure. Now, why did your folks pick Johnsburg as a place to move? Do you know? Or
my dad had gone up there hunting when he was younger, with his friends, and he loved the area. Garnet Lake was where he started hunting.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. And that's just where they picked to settle, I guess.
And did they build the house? Because I know your dad's a builder, or did they get an older one? Or
they got an older house.
Yeah.
They rented a couple of different places, and then they finally settled in the one that I grew up in from the time I was 4 on through. And they actually just recently tore that down and brought in a new home.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was my dad got out of the construction scene, I'll say 15 years ago probably, and started driving truck for the town.
Okay.
So he got into that.
Okay.
He said it's much easier work on his body than
Oh, for sure.
the
Yeah, I used to
construction
do
work.
a lot of building. Yeah. So he actually built homes.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, he did that for a long time.
Okay.
All my childhood. It was cool to watch him work like that. And then and then he had winters off pretty much, which was also
That's
cool.
right. That's right. All right. So you didn't live near relatives, but you saw them on a kind of regular basis when you went to Glens Falls. Mm-hmm. Growing up in the country, were you a kid who wanted to be out in the woods exploring, or would you rather have been staying close to home?
I stayed pretty close to home, but we had a brook that ran through our property, so that was like my go-to to find the frogs and the salamanders and whatever else. But we were pretty wooded all around. Yeah. Normally I went out with my dad. I didn't venture too far off by myself.
Did friends come over, kids?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
friends from school and stuff would come over and we would play outside and we could go like all the way around the garage, which was all wooded, and kind of make pretend through that. And it was fun.
Oh, good. All right, so you kind of explored some, but you stayed close to home as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And you had a circle of friends, would you say? Or
Yeah. We would kind of switch which house we would go to. We could go to their house. They would come here.
Right.
The different friends, sometimes we would all get together for a sleepover at one spot.
Sure.
And kind of switch around. It was good, though.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And did your family have animals, like what we call farm animals, cow, duck, chickens, or?
We didn't. My dad always wanted them, but it just was never happened. He had a big garden, so that was kind of like his main focus. I have friends that had, one friend had sheep and chickens. Another friend growing up had donkeys.
Donkeys?
Yes.
Okay.
And they had a beehive, like a bee.
Sure.
What do I want to say? He was a beekeeper, I guess.
Yeah.
So he had the bees and the honeys, and that was cool to watch.
Yeah. Now, did your family can, like, from the garden,
oh, yeah.
preserve?
Yep, we learned how to do that. Vacuum sealing was a big thing.
Right.
So we did that. We do canning.
You do now?
Yes, and I learned from watching my mom and dad do it all those years. Yeah.
Well, you have a garden now? Or where's the...
I go with my dad.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But we can, like, our venison from hunting and our bear meat and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah.
Oh. I didn't know you did can. I guess I should have known that. But anyway. All right. So, you did develop, like, skills that you'd need to live in the country. Like, you knew how to preserve food.
Yeah.
Did you chop, I don't know, did you cut wood or...
Yes. I helped my dad lots of years cut wood, stack wood, bring it in for the fireplace.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Now, so as far as learning how to shoot, did your dad show you how to do that, or?
Yeah, when I was really young, it started out with just the BB guns,
right?
And I remember he bought me one, and I think it was 5 or 6, and I couldn't pump the BB gun, and I used to have to hand it to him, and then he would pump it, and then I could shoot it, and then I'd hand it back to him, and I'm sure that got really old for him, but I had a blast.
It sounds like a real nice man, you know,
yeah.
who likes spending time with you and showing you things.
Yeah, he did.
Did you get good with? Were you a good shot? Were you accurate?
Yeah, it was awkward because he was right-handed, and I ended up just naturally being a left-handed shooter. So but he taught me everything I know. When I was 7, he had me out with a .22, and he set the targets up, and he showed me how to do everything, and I shot, and I hit the middle of the target, and he was like, "Oh, wow, that's incredible!" And
first time,
yeah.
Oh my God!
I think that helped my love of like learning how to shoot and the appreciation of it.
It's always nice to have early success.
Yes, that definitely was encouragement.
Yeah. Now, so there was never anything. Lindsay, you don't do that because that's for boys to do. You never heard that.
No,
Nothing
never growing up. Right. I'm sure my dad probably wanted a boy to share those things with, but I was interested in all of it. I was interested in the hunting, and I remember being out in the garage with him with my little plastic hammer and hitting my thumb when I was little.
Sure.
And I think the difference between the boy and the girl was he came right over to pick me up and make sure I was okay. Where I think a boy, maybe it would have been like, "Oh, you're fine, you're tough," but I was, a little girl, and here I am hitting my finger, trying to figure out how to use the hammer and the nail.
And then you worked with him in a family business, right? Didn't you say?
Yes, his pig roasting business.
Is that still happening? Or?
Yes, he still does it. I'm there when he needs help or to clean it. He does quite a few a year. He's up to like 140, 150 pigs that he's done.
Oh my God!
On his own, yeah. And it's a cool process. His big cooker holds the whole pig in like a cage, and he does his thing, and that's that. It's crazy.
So you do that several times during the summer, or how does that go? Quite often, or
some spring to fall. He does it. Hunting season is a no. He tries not to do anything there. But he has a whole trailer set up, and he brings it to he does weddings and parties and benefits and a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to ask you something about, we heard on the news that Minerva and Johnsburg are considering consolidating.
Yeah.
It was on the news, and they're talking about the student population declining. Mm-hmm. Especially I think in Minerva, that was really
Yeah,
Very
such
small.
a small area.
So, did you know about that, and what do you think of that idea? Do you think it should happen, or what do you think?
I know their sports teams have consolidated, and I think that's awesome. But as far as like the schools, they're so far out. Like the kids in Minerva would have to get on a bus at crazy hours to get to Johnsburg School, and I think that would be their biggest problem.
Okay.
Even only living like 10 minutes out from my school, I still was on the bus pretty early. Still dark outside in the winter. And,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
When I went to BOCES, the like technical trade school, I was on the bus at 6 o'clock in the morning, and that was just to go to Glens Falls. So
Yeah.
I can't imagine from Minerva. That's a good 20-minute ride on a nice day, like, and that's just to the middle part, not even how far out it goes, almost up to Newcomb and.
Right. So all
So
the
I don't
stopping and
know.
starting, and
Yeah.
might be. Well, I think they just are start to talk about it because apparently there were 120 students left in all of the Minerva system.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's
That
I
is
think I
crazy.
heard that right.
Yeah.
So anyway, did you notice that when you were a student that population?
Yeah. I think my class at Johnsburg was one of the bigger ones. It's then, since I want to say like the 90s, but I'm not sure exactly. And I only had 32 kids in my class. And I think it was 400 K through 12. So that was different, and now Minerva's even smaller.
Yeah.
But I don't know how that works with such a small population in such a small area.
Right.
Like Minerva.
Right.
But they definitely have gone down. I know when I was working at the Johnsburg school before I moved to Hadley, we would have like 16 kids in a class, and there was only 2 grades, 2 classes per grade. So it definitely has gone down quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, let me see. You what did you do at the school when you worked there?
I was a substitute, an aide. So I kind of just did a little bit of everything. I liked working with the kids, but I liked that I could bounce from different classrooms to see them all. I didn't like that.
Sure. Yeah. Now this is kind of a general question, but what is it like? What was your experience? A small school. Was that? Did it work for you? Did you feel like you were too obvious? Did you want to hide in the crowd, or you couldn't do that, or what was it? How'd that feel?
It was good. We all pretty much got along for the most part. There was like the cliques and who you hung out with, but
can't be helped, right?
Yeah, exactly. Even in a small school.
Yeah.
But I think there wasn't really anything too drastic. Like I feel in the bigger schools you have more cliques and you have more of the not really even knowing people, where we kind of grew up together. We went from kindergarten all the way up through to 12th grade together.
Yeah. That is really unusual, really
same
unique.
Same building, everything.
Yeah.
So I think I would have liked, if I had a choice of the bigger schools or the smaller schools, the smaller school I think is better. You have more of, you have your friends, but you also have the teachers that where on a bigger school I don't think you get like that connection.
Right.
And I liked it. I liked the small school.
Yeah. Are you still in touch with those people that you...
Some, yes.
Yeah, some?
We grew apart. A lot of us have families now. A lot of us moved to Glens Falls or even out of state, where I kind of stayed close to home.
Right.
For a while anyway.
Was there ever a time, like when maybe Glens Falls appealed to you as a place to live, or any other city? Did you want to travel and... Yeah.
I have always wanted to travel. I still do, and someday I will. Just to see the world. I don't know that I'd ever settle in a city. I like, even Hadley is bigger and more populated than I was used to growing up, and I do like the quiet area better.
Okay. But you want You want to travel? Do
I
you
do.
mean out of the country or all over the place? Or what?
Yes, anywhere.
Yeah.
I love to learn. I love to see new things.
Yeah. I hope you get to do it. You know,
someday.
Yeah. The like where you live, right? A rural setting, urban setting, suburban setting. They're all different, and they sort of have a lot to do with who we become. You know, our point of view. Like, I'm from the city.
Yeah.
I have to say I've never been fishing ever. I've never held a weapon of any kind. I didn't have a relative showing me any of that.
Yeah.
And so it's just your experience is so interesting to me. You know, and did you ever imagine what a city kid's life would be? I mean, it would be,
definitely.
you know,
Yeah.
it would be very different.
Yeah, not having the space to just even do the things like I got to do. Like we could, when my dad taught me how to shoot, we could do it right on our property.
Right.
At the time, there wasn't anything nearby, and the gardening, we had a huge garden of, I want to say 40 by 60 foot garden. So it's big. Where living in the city, you can have those things, but you'd have to go to a range. You'd have to, have your little box for a garden, or.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it makes a difference on how you grow up and where you grow up.
And you'll always prefer a country, rural setting.
Yep.
Good for you. Good. We talked about a place you would go after school. Was it a relative of yours or?
Not what do I want to say? Not blood related by any means, but she definitely became family. My mom and dad, I'm not sure how they even met her when they moved to Johnsburg, but I started going there when I was 2 as a babysitter. And then after school, she had a whole group of us come on the bus. She'd have snacks for us. We'd do our homework. And then we got to play, and there we played outside all the time. We always had everything we needed. It was home away from home, really.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And there were several kids doing that.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say there was probably at least 10 of us in just my age group where we got along. We played together.
Right.
It was cool. It was fun, and I think that helped. Even before school and stuff, it was like a social.
Yeah,
social
that's great.
thing.
And was that every during school the school week you go every day?
Yep.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
It's unique. It's like a creative thing.
Yeah. Both my parents worked until 5 or 6 at night, so after school it was a safe place to get off the bus, and she was always there. And I don't know how she did it for all those years with all of us kids, but...
Now, is she still with us? Is she?
Yeah, yep. She lives in Weavertown, which is one of the hamlets of Johnsburg.
Yeah.
The only red light is right there. And I don't think she watches kids anymore.
No, well,
but...
Maybe she aged out, maybe.
Yeah, and she's got great grandkids now.
Oh,
that
okay.
She I'm sure, takes very well care of, because she always did all of us.
Yeah, I love that story.
Yeah.
It's a great story.
Yeah.
So now you're a parent of this little fellow here. How has, this may be kind of general, but how has it changed you being a parent? I mean, maybe is that hard to answer, or?
Not really, because it has changed me a lot. I'm definitely more out of my shell, less shy. I think that has helped. Having Landon, who's a crazy redhead and gets all of the attention everywhere we go, it's definitely helped me talk to more people and become less shy. And when he did start school, it was going in and talking with the teachers and going through kindergarten roundup.
Right.
And then eventually when I made the decision to start homeschooling, it was, now it's meeting new people that I have no idea who they are, going to a field trip and joining this group of so many people, trying to make new friends is more intimidating now as an adult than it ever was as a kid. But I'm kind of forced to talk to people now and
Right.
and get connections where before I think I would have kind of just stayed in my little circle of friends.
Sure.
And
Sure. Uh, um, are you making friends in this new situation, like other homeschooling parents? Do you
Yeah.
see that? Well, I mean, or how does that happen? Where you get together with other parents like that?
there's a lot of events that is created. I'm a part of 2 different groups on like
Oh.
Facebook. It's a huge opportunity to connect with everybody,
Hmm.
which is really cool. And we'll meet up, and I'll see a lot of the same parents at the same events, which is kind of nice because it's a little less intimidating going to a new thing.
Yeah, with the people you know.
Yeah. But the other day I ran into another homeschool mom in the Valentine aisle at Walmart, and I recognized her from going to Up Yonder Farms homeschool sessions.
Right.
And we exchanged numbers so we could keep in contact.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's cool to meet new people and make new friends like
Yeah.
that have the same kind of ideas and interests.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of families doing that in Hadley, Luzerne, or do you know how many, or maybe you don't?
I've only met only one other family in the Hadley area that is a homeschooler. But Glens Falls area has a lot. Saratoga area has a lot. Just my one group that I follow on Facebook has over 700 members on their Facebook page. And
Is that a local group?
Yeah, Glens Falls and the surrounding area. Which
that's a lot.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I did not think that when I started the whole process.
Right.
That there was that many.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
So is there something like a governing structure, like in the organization? Is it formal or informal?
It's pretty informal. Everybody kind of does their own thing. We get together. We'll do like playground meetups. As far as anything like governing, what we have to do is just like every month I make a quarterly report of what we've covered, what subjects we do, and I send that to the school district. So I send it to Hadley.
Oh, okay.
And then they probably send it to the New York State Department of Education.
Okay.
But there's really nothing that says exactly what I have to do. There's certain subjects that have to be covered, but it's so wide open, which is almost more intimidating and more complicated than if I had a paper that said this is what you need to do by the grade level.
So much of it is your decision, your choice.
Which I do like, but at the same time, it's hard. It's hard to decide what do I teach, where do we go from here. And I think the homeschool groups that I'm on, it's nice to see what everybody does.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah,
for sure,
definitely.
Are you thinking about staying with it all through grammar school, or how far do you think it goes for you?
Definitely through the elementary years.
Yeah.
There's a lot of online things I think as he gets older, and I'll probably leave it up to my son at that point.
Okay.
Because the social aspect is nice, and the prom and the sports, but we can still do all the sports, so that's really really good. It gets him out there.
Yeah.
And he made a lot of friends through t-ball the last 2 years.
In Hadley?
Yeah.
You play, right here they play.
Yeah. But I think if he wants to continue homeschooling, I think that's awesome. But at the same time, if he ever wants to go back, I will gladly let him go.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay.
So yeah, it's not like he has to
right.
do it, but
he'll have a lot to do with that decision.
Yeah, as he gets older, and he can really make that choice.
It's great.
Yeah.
No, so you interact with the school system in that way that you send them. You tell them what you've been doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Right.
Like today, I just sent in my quarterly report for the second quarter. And I just have to say, like for math, this is our workbooks we use, what I think his grade should be. And that's it pretty much. I do math, science, social studies, art, and physical education are like the main subjects that have to be covered. So and it's so open.
Right. That's there's room for you and your creativity there.
Yeah. Yep.
So as far as New York State Education Department, you don't interact with them.
No, not
just
at
the
all.
local folks. Okay.
Which is nice because New York State Department of Education is so big and there's so much in it that I'd rather just have the superintendent's office from Hadley that I can contact. And,
right.
And she's great. The ladies in the office there are great with any questions I have.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So it's a good relationship.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Good. Now, I have to ask, have you climbed Crane Mountain?
I personally have not.
Okay. Do you plan to climb?
Someday I will. It gets steep. It gets very steep.
It does. Yeah, I remember some hand over hand, but
I'm not sure I'm up for that. But my dad has gone up there a lot between being in the fire department and rescuing people up there.
Oh, has it? Really?
Yeah, putting them in the helicopters to bring them down.
Oh, he does that?
Yeah, yep. He's been up a few times.
Quite a man, huh? He does a lot of stuff.
He does.
Yeah.
Yep. Him and my mom. My mom's the secretary treasurer of the fire department, and he's the chief. So
they're okay.
very
I got
involved in that. And
yeah. So, but Garnett Lake became your kind of stopping ground?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
We used to canoe up there.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And
that's
camp
my favorite place.
Yeah, nice.
Yep.
You've been up to the Garnett Lake Lodge?
Yes, that's a beautiful place, too.
Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it? Mm-hmm. I hope they're open. I know they went through some management change.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on up there, but
right.
Hopefully. Yeah.
I remember the moss on Garnett Lake. On the mountain.
Yes.
There's so many different shades of it.
It's beautiful, though. It is.
I didn't know there was that, that many kinds.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. All right, so you will stay basically with homeschooling as long as Landon is into the program or something, or
as long as I can. I guess as long as I can teach him.
Right. Right.
And like I said, in the high school years, that's going to be a little bit more complicated because I haven't done that kind of math in years, and it's changed so much on how they do it.
I can imagine.
But there's so many online programs that I can go on and find something that is either by the subject or an all-in-one curriculum.
Yeah.
And he can go online and they have actual teachers that do it, or they have different, like already done. He goes through it on his own at his own pace. So.
So he could stay with it through high school.
Yeah.
I mean, if he wanted to.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that's great. I think that's really interesting.
It is
really exciting.
It's a whole new world, the homeschooling world.
Yeah.
At first I was so nervous. People would ask him, "Oh, how do you like school? What grade are you in?" And like this year, he would say, "I'm 6, so we don't really have. We're first grade, but and we don't really have that because
you don't have that. Right.
Continue on.
Right.
While we're learning, and everything's a learning experience, which is
cool. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you started a business.
Yes,
and
very
how did
small one.
How did that come about?
I cleaned for a friend of the family's 10 years ago, maybe. And she did like rental homes or people's second homes that they would rent out, like the Airbnbs. I guess that wasn't a thing then, but
taking over the world.
Yeah. So I started cleaning with her, and I didn't mind the work. My first official job other than babysitting was a housekeeper at the Copperfield in North Creek, and I did that for one whole summer, and I felt like I didn't have a life because it was every like Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
And I made okay money, but I didn't like the same room over and over again. I'd rather the houses are easier almost because it's a little bit different. And I could go at like my own speed, my own pace in the house, where housekeeping was a little bit more intense.
Right. They're watching.
Yes, always. But after I kind of took a break after that, and I met my husband. Ended up having Landon, so we lived in Thurman for a short time with only one vehicle. So we made the decision I would be a stay-at-home mom, which I went from subbing at the school in Johnsburg and cleaning houses and kind of working a lot to being totally secluded in Thurman.
Right.
So when we moved to Hadley, I was like, I'm going to throw it out there and see if I can pick up a couple of houses and get me out of the house a little bit.
Yeah.
And
How's
just
it been?
through word of mouth,
All right.
people have called me. I've got 5 or 6 of them that are, most of them are monthly. Some of them are just totally as needed. They call me 2 days before and say, hey, can you come clean? You know, I'll be out of town, or I'm coming up to my second home. Can you run in and do a quick clean? And,
Sure. Well, I know there's a lot of buzz about Airbnb.
That's huge.
All over the place.
It is.
You might expect to get some of that.
Yeah, which I don't mind at all. I do like my cleanings I have now because I get really, I don't want to say comfortable, but I get to know the family well, and it becomes not a job. It's fun, and it's fun to go in and see people on a monthly or weekly basis, and they become friends. It's awesome.
That's good. That's good. Well, so what do you do for fun when you're not working and you've got 3 hours in front? What do you like to do?
My quiet time thing that I love to do, I love to read anything, everything. I like to fish. I like to hunting season. I like to do that. I'm gonna get into hiking a little bit more, just to see more and get outside more.
Yeah.
But as far as like my everyday thing I like to do, I like to just read where it's quiet and when I get quiet time.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I can learn more. I like to learn.
For sure. Well, I think that we've covered all these important questions. I think we have. Okay, I think we did, but there is a little individual over here who might want to be included in this.
Right.
Maybe.
You can come say hi. Come here.
Thanks for coming today.
Yeah.
Say thanks for having me, huh? You say hi. See, this is Landon. This is the homeschool hero we're talking about.
Yeah, you've been a big topic of conversation here.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
Pulled those ones out.
Yep.
What?
He pulled them out. They were
you
loose.
pulled them out.
Yep, and he's got another one on the bottom he just lost.
Okay. Does it hurt?
No.
A little.
When you pull them out a little. I think it's the thought of it.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's the thought of it. Yeah, the tooth fairy came though, right? You get big money for teeth these days with the tooth fairy.
Really?
I guess so.
Inflation.
It is.
It's not a buck anymore. It's like
It's $2.
$2.
I know. Tooth fairy.
So what do you do for fun?
Sit home and play toys and stuff.
Okay.
Twice.
Right. Wintertime stuff or summertime better for you, or what do you like?
Summer.
Summertime better. Yeah. Everybody says that.
Mm-hmm. Do you like to go fishing too, right? Dad got you into fishing, huh?
Okay.
Yep.
Where do you go? Here, Luzerne, or where do you?
Yeah, you went to Luzerne on Saturday to go ice fishing with Dad, huh?
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
We didn't really catch anything.
Well, I'm not seeing as many
Shanties
structures out
yeah.
there. I'm noticing there aren't so many, but
the ice has been weird. It's been here, and then it hasn't, and then it has, and then we got all the snow on top. So it's we haven't. Normally we go every weekend ice fishing.
Oh, good.
And we have the little shanty with the heater because I'm cold and I don't like the cold.
Right, absolutely.
But he loves it. He's gotten really good at catching them. Dad taught him how to pull it up, and it's pretty cool.
You're getting some good skills there that will take you far in life.
Yeah, it's all fun.
How we doing?
Oh, good.
Right. All right. So, well, there's so much more I'd like to ask you, but our time is running short. Landon is running short.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to thank you for joining us and sharing your stories.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
It's really been fun.
Yeah.
So we'll, I guess we'll sign off. Yes. Well, okay. Okay.
You peeking?
What?
He's peeking around.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I wanted to thank you for joining us today and sharing your story.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you guys.